Do not fucking confuse confidence with ego. Ego is fucking insecurity. It is not confidence. I think the thing that I'm conscious of is off the screen, I'm real happy too, right? Like, you know, I think one thing that's really been interesting is as awareness around an individual grows, a level of responsibility comes along with it. I'm definitely at a point right now where I'm really being thoughtful of, like, look, there's a lot of eyes on me, and a lot of people who are not happy are putting their eyes on me, and I'm helping them through that. And I need to be hyper sensitive in my own self of articulating things that I'm unhappy about. Mm-hmm. But what's been really interesting is I've been really on this kick for 6 or 9 months. I'm struggling to be unhappy because I've come to realize it's unbelievable how simple my life is. If I genuinely wake up in the morning and 8 to 10 people are actually still alive, I'm just struggling to be upset about stuff. I don't know what else to say. I struggle with, my perspective on life is very simple, which is it's such a blessing. It's so rare, you know. Last time we were here, I made a video with you guys, and in there I talked about the 400 trillion to one, and in that micro piece of content, which I've chopped up and used, it's one of my most successful piece of content ever. Happened in this building a couple years ago, and I've always internalized it. I finally articulated it a couple years ago, and I continue to internalize it, which is I am happy because I'd like to understand. I'd like somebody to sell me on what to be upset about.
Well, it's a failure of perspective when you're upset.
It's a failure of perspective.
It really is. And if you can keep perspective like you are in line, you are happy.
I'll tell you what's really emerged: entitlement. I was parented in a really, and my circumstances put me in a place where I just don't think anybody owes me anything. Not society, not the government, not people I do nice things for. That's a killer.
Yeah.
People struggle so much when they do something nice for somebody. They think that person owes them something. I'm desperately trying to give more value to every person I ever cross paths with and never ask for anything in return. That is literally the framework of my life. My great hope is that I can bring more value to people than they bring to me, and I'm never in a dire situation where I ever have to ask for anything in return.
Well, you keep yourself in that abundance state, right? So you're not in need, you're not desperate, you don't have the expectation, oh, I'm giving this transactionally so that I receive this. And then when those expectations aren't met, then you have the hangover of that expectation, the sadness that comes from chasing that thrill of hoping to get something and then it failing. Instead, if you just give and have the act of giving be the gift itself, like, oh, I helped this person.
And I'm in that in a lot of ways. That's right. And then it's the same reason I'm an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is the win. And I believe we're living through a great era right now where people are looking for the money and the things you can buy with the money from entrepreneurship. And that is why I believe that in the next decade, there will be an enormous conversation of people being unhappy entrepreneurs during this generation.
Yeah.
Because it is so in the air in your Instagram stream, success and the perception of success. And I've really started to articulate something that feels really true to me, which is, how do I can only be responsible for myself. I hope it encourages others, but how do I start making happiness the true North Star, not money? I don't know what to say. Like, not stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, anything that you place outside of yourself for happiness is going to be a dead end street, right? Because that thing is something that you'll have to constantly chase. That'll be the rabbit that keeps you on the Greyhound track, always running around. Oh, if it's money, well, then you're going to need more money when you get money, and you're going to need more and more and more, and you'll keep feeding this thing rather than recognizing that happiness lives within us as soon as we acknowledge it.
And for everybody who's watching right now, do not confuse this for a lack of ambition. I'm ambitious as fuck. I just am really happy with the process. And I'm also super weirdly happy with losing.
Because that's the process.
I lost to you in pool, and in, what is that thing again?
Sauce.
Sauce. I beat you in free throws and darts. I'm sitting here and I only want to play sauce and pool. And I think there's something in that, right? The Rangers, New York Rangers, and the Yankees have won world championships during my fandom. The Knicks and Jets have not. I do not watch the Rangers and Yankees anymore. I'm diehard on the other two. I'm in it for the process. Like, I was at the airport. I told you off camera, I took a red eye, which I'm trying not to do for my own body and like rest and all that, but I did. And I was in San Francisco, and the Warriors game is on. And I actually just don't consume a lot of like stuff in general, but like I was watching this Warriors game, and I grew up in the kind of like tech boom of 2005 through 11, and I'd go to San Francisco a lot. And when I tell you not one fucking human in San Francisco knew who the Warriors were in 2005 to 11, not one. And I'm watching this game, it's the end of the game, and I'm watching these fans celebrate. And there was just this wild feeling going through my body of almost like a really funny mix of like, I don't know, I find it crazy when people become bandwagon fans and think that they're successful through their team's success.
Yeah, they use the word "we" when they're talking about a pro team.
Yeah, and I do that as well, so I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I'm literally talking about you don't like the team or care about it. Then they start winning championships, and you're going to games, and then you're making fun of like hardcore Houston Rocket fans. And I watch this play out on social and like in culture, and I'm like, I don't know. I think a bandwagon sports fan is one of the great tells of somebody who's insecure, and it's just something that has always run through my mind. Literally, when I think about the Bulls fans and the Cowboy fans of my high school years in New Jersey when they were good. Just a lot of those bandwagon fans in my school are not happy or successful.
Well, when you attach your identity to some other thing, and then that identity makes you good whether or not that thing is successful or not. So if your identity is a sports fan of X team and you only feel good about yourself when X team is there because it's like you had some fucking insight that made you smarter or made you better or made you something that your ego can latch onto is like, I am superior to something else. And if you're in it for that, well, you might get a thrill every once in a while, but you're going to have a lot of fucking heartbreak rather than being in it, as you were saying, being in it for just being a fan. Whether you're winning or losing, the joy of being a fan is being a fan, not the fucking win.
It's crazy while you were just talking where my mind went. It went to people's social media profiles versus their actual truth. I am petrified that everybody is a PR version of themselves on social and that it's now a thing, like a sports team.